You were with the president today. You heard his speech. What did you think?
I thought the president basically, laid out a format to kind of address this epidemic of violence that's plaguing it, throughout the United States. But at the same time, I'm glad he came to Chicago because we have a Sandy Hook incident in Chicago every 30 days.
It's a very interesting perspective that literally so many kids are killed here. It's like one of those school shootings every month that you have. A lot of talk about limiting supply, gun control, making it harder, background checks. Do you believe that a gun control law will be the answer to stopping the violence?
Well, I don't really get so caught up in the gun control aspects of this issue. My thing is we have to change the way people think. We have generations of people that grew up in this culture of violence in Chicago. It's been passed down generation to generation, and we have to do a lot of work in the public health arena and take a look at this epidemic of violence just as a public health matter.
Did we learn the same lessons that we did with drugs, that you can't just deal with the supply, you got to deal with the demand, you got to deal with why people want these weapons in the first place, right?
That's my point. It's all about the thinking, because if I've been raised up and all my family members are involved in the gang lifestyle, and when I look outside my front door, people are shooting at one another, that's what I might end up doing, because violence is model behavior. So we have to look at it just like that.
But in that way, another law to say make it harder, that's easier to do, even though there's a lot of political fighting right now. That's easier to do than I'm going to give you a different way to see your life. I'm going to give you opportunities that you don't have right now. I'm going to give you hope for a future you don't have. Those are very difficult to establish, right?
Well, the thing is, ceasefire, we're winning right now. We're working with 1,100 high-risk individuals in Chicago right now, and about 30% of them, we have them working jobs now. The other 35%, they re-enroll back in school, and the remaining percentage of individuals, we're just working with them, changing the way they think about life one day at a time.
And you've seen that it works?
Yeah, we've seen that it works.
When you put them in a job, let them see there's another way, it takes.
Yes, indeed. Once you change their thinking, then they're job ready. However, what happens is that, we just can't work all over the place. The epidemic of violence has hit Chicago over the last 30 years, really. So this is not nothing that took place overnight. We have to do a lot of work really dealing with the families out here, with all the people throughout Chicago, and do the best we can.
We're hearing from the political side, it's getting better. The numbers are better in Chicago, things are better. But when you walk in the community here and you talk to the organizers and people trying to make a difference, they say, it's bad. I don't know if it's better, but all I know is it's still bad, and that's all that matters.
Well, this is the thing. You had 506 homicides in 2012. You had over 2,400 shootings in the year 2012, and in the month of January in 2013, we had about 44 homicides. So it's not really getting better right now. We just had to do a lot of more work out here, reaching all the people, because you have 600 different factions in Chicago, so you need a lot of staff that can go out there and work with everybody. That's the key.
It's an important message for our lawmakers also to remind them that you think you're not going to help, you think you're not going to put money here, you're still going to wind up paying, because if you don't pay to help these young people now with a better life, you'll pay for them when they're in the system. Right?
Without a doubt. But, even police officials have stated that you cannot arrest your way out of this problem. 1/3 of the inmates in the Cook County Jail are suffering from mental health issues. So we have a lot of issues to kind of deal with. So as long as we can address it as a public health issue, because violence spreads just like an infectious disease. I grew up in Henry Hornet Projects on the west side of Chicago, and I lived in a building with 3,000 people. And if I was mad at you, 40% of the building, they were mad at you too, because I transmitted my thinking in their minds. So we have to address it just like the cigarette campaign, for example. There was a time when people would smoke in public anywhere, and now they're not doing it anymore. We need to have a day come in America where people pull out guns and everybody's in their face saying we don't do that anymore.
The pull of the problem is strong, but people like you are just as strong to fight it?
Yeah, that's what's going on. You have credible messengers. Ceasefire has violence interrupters, outreach workers who go through a professional training. They're credible people, come from the community, and they help people change their lives.
These guys on the streets that are high risk, they listen to us because we speak their language. How many times have we talked somebody out of putting down a gun and not shooting somebody? There's another way to deal with it. Where y'all going? What you doing? What you doing out here right now? All of us were once on the streets, gangbanging, committing crimes, felonies, misdemeanors.
The response that they give us after dealing with us and us being involved in their lives, seeing the turnaround from their mind frames to the way they behave, to the way they interact with other people, we make a difference.
We've had 104 days without a shooting in the CeaseFire-Rogers Park funded zones. We spend collectively approximately 700 hours a month on the streets.
One of the other outreach workers has got a phone call. One of his clients has just got jumped on by a local gang. Most likely it was a misunderstanding. They probably thought he was in a different mob, that he wasn't. It's little things like that leads to killings, and you see a whole different side of a human being once blood is drawn.
Come here, baby. What happened?
Bro, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Is you gang banging?
No, it ain't got nothing to do with no gang stuff.
It does have to do with gang
Look,
stuff.
gang banging.
No, it ain't got nothing to do with no gang stuff.
Are you gang banging? Okay, what do they think you are?
A renegade.
They think you're a renegade what?
GD.
A renegade GD. You know the history around here. Man, just for you to turn around and renegade GD on top of that, you know, bro. You already know. You gotta understand that you only can do so much. So you got to help us out on the other half. We're gonna go and talk them down. But you gotta talk, man. You're gonna talk.
And when this just happened, they come out here like, man, they keep robbing, doing whatever to these little dudes. What y'all want us to do? It's basically saying this.
We all know what it's like to be out there in the streets and thinking that this is an acceptable way to live. When you put your finger on a trigger, everything changes. You're not in a video game. This is some real stuff. One's going to the grave and one's going to the prison. Give me a hug. I'll see you, all right?
Yes, man. Man, y'all know
Call us, you need us,
number
all right?
one volunteer, man. I love you guys, man.
You call us.
Was murdered overnight on Chicago's South Side. Police say it happened execution.
On the streets of Chicago.
Youth violence in Chicago has gotten world attention.
We got over 500 years of prison time at this table. That's a lot of wisdom.
Ex-gang members recruited to stop the violence.
The violence interrupters have one goal in mind: save a life.
Kobe.
How can you help me right now?
Kobe has big-time credibility with the gang members out there.
Eddie.
Half of my life I was in prison. That's why I do what I do now.
You good with son?
Amina.
Amina Matthews' father was one of the biggest gang leaders in the history of Chicago. She gets in where a lot of guys can't get in.
This is unacceptable for me to be holding this young man's obituary. Stop.
Tonight on Frontline.
We're trying to stop the violence. That's it and that's all.
The acclaimed documentary, The Interrupters.
Well, it was a violent night in Chicago. 9 people were shot in just 5 hours. 1 person died.
Gregory Robinson is the 28th Chicago public school student killed this school year. Died last Friday.
24 people killed so far this year. Among the number of Americans killed in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Another sign of the times, members of CeaseFire were also at today's memorial service, hoping to stop any thoughts of retaliation for Greg's murder.
12, 13-year-olds are walking around with bulletproof vests on up under their clothes.
All right, let's close up. Everybody that's in the meeting, this is serious now, okay? We're in a crisis mode, and we need people to step up at this table and go over and beyond. Guys are getting killed for just anything. Have there been any conflicts mediated on the front end from last week to this week?
2 guys was arguing. One guy threatened to blow the other guy's wig back. I got him to calm down, tell him he didn't shoot you, he was just talking. We stopped that one on the front end.
I have the dirty dozen at the table. We've always had outreach workers, but the violence was not necessarily going down at that point. So in the year 2004, we began a new concept called the violence interrupters. Most of the violence interrupters come from the hierarchy in some of these gangs. Because can't know anybody come in and tell a guy to put his gun down.
They kept calling me, and they shooting us, what you want me to do?
Just ask me what you want me to do.
The violence interrupters have one goal in mind: to stop killings. They're not trying to dismantle gangs. What they're trying to do is save a life.
I might get shot.
Nobody's been changed. Nobody's come through shooting.
Meaningful, like.
What happened?
You actually got an incident right here.
By the time we got out there, the fight had just ended.
The cops pulled up and pulled off. Y'all missed that. The cops pulled up and they left. They're scared. They're scared of the community.
One group of guys said the young man threatened that he had a gun and that he was going to kill him. So he started fighting and ended up getting his teeth knocked out.
Come on.
And Kobe got him off location. I asked Kobe to take him to the hospital.
Come on, hey, look. I'm the pop. Watch this.
The block got quiet, and I'm looking down the street, and here comes the sisters of the guy that got his tooth knocked out. They came to defend their brother's honor with a butcher knife. The sister calls one of the guys a bitch ass, punk ass. The little 4- and 5-year-old baby was doing the same thing.
Knock your bitch ass out. Run up there. Run up there.
Why you just talking to
sister like you on your... Well, your whole family
look, be me. You gotta look at her like you look at me. Because you ain't gonna be...
yourself. She ain't respecting herself. Her brother should be with us. He in the woods.
The story about sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can never hurt you. Words that get you killed. All of a sudden, the sister ran up with a piece of concrete. One of the girls was about to stab one of the guys. Her cousin picked up the butcher knife. D was in the heat of the moment. That adrenaline was still going, and I'm gonna get them back. 83rd and Walcott. I picked up D, and I said, you need to get off the block for a minute.
He was out of line. He was out of pocket. He was very disrespectful. And I know how many people I got out here that's willing to take care of the business.
His family kept calling him. You know, what's taking you so long so we can come back over there and set that block off? Because if his family would have came to get him, maybe it would have been a death behind it. I know you got some damn food for family.
Yeah.
About you. I saw that you wasn't, you know, you was walking away to defend you or your family. But and I really, man, I thank you. I mean, for real. For real. That's what gangster is about right there.
I definitely don't want to go
You wasn't
back.
that gangster? Did this girl square like Joe Frazier? I took him over to his cousin's house. We were talking about how he got hit and he tumbled over. Like a cartoon character. Woo! So if you get them to laugh at themselves, find that soft spot of that person. Not weak, but soft spot. And you just ride on that.
Amina Matthews, as a violence interrupter, she's a golden girl. And she gets in where a lot of guys can't get in. She knows how to talk to these high-risk young men, and a lot of guys I know that have a lot of murder in their background, they respect her.
So the life that I lived, being in shootouts, looking at the devil face to face, and I look at my sisters and my brothers today, you know, that was once me.
Her father was Jeff Ford, one of the biggest gang leaders in the history of Chicago, outside of Al Capone. Ford is serving a life sentence for allegedly conspiring with the Libyans to commit acts of terrorism here in the United States.
I understand the fact that we got police in here. Definitely not going to be any killing without killing.
Jeff Ford stood up against the police. He was definitely a feared and very revered man in his community. But she never lived off that name. Amina made her own name on the streets.
Growing up, it wasn't his influence that influenced me to do anything. You know, my dad was not there. When I was conceived, he was 16 years old. So when I got older, I was in a mob with a bunch of guys, and I was like the only female. That was the lieutenant that took care of the business. It was drug selling, hustling. You know, one crew was on the pimping tip. One crew was on the stick-up tip. Drugs, guns, party, fun, that was it. My dad wasn't around, and when he got wind of that I was a part of that team, he was kind of hurt. But he couldn't be too hurt because look at what precedent that he started.
Ceasefire, 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 ceasefire. Stop the shooting! Stop the shooting! Stop the killing! Stop the killing!
Young man got shot 22 times, 13 years old. It's sad.
We're sick and tired of our babies being killed.
My son has been killed right here. We standing here with cameras right here with my son been slated. Come on now. I don't think that's right.
You say there's still a code of silence going on in the neighborhood, that people aren't coming forward.
I can't walk around and go to people's houses and say, who killed my son? I'm not a police officer and I'm not a doctor. You know, I don't know how many times my son, they tell me 22, I don't know how times my son's been shot. See, somebody in the background saying 22. You a doctor, baby?
I'm just auntie, and that's what the doctor told me.
That was you there. That's my son, baby. You didn't make him. You his auntie.
We're going to move this on.
What you mean? What you don't get what?
Words of encouragement to the family.
We took care of my mom. Nobody else took care of my mom.
Just say this, we just had another homicide. Yes, now, while we're marching, another homicide. It's a war zone. It's a war zone and an epidemic. People, we must come together.
It's just so crazy, man, because it's like every time you come outside, somebody getting killed. I don't know what this world coming to. We got to be out here, man, before things happen. All my life, I knew right from wrong. I knew if I do this, I get in trouble. But, you know, at the time, I just didn't care, though. I always wanted to be like my dad. You know, he is my role model because he used to always dress slick, wear big hats and suits and, you know, all that. And I just, you know, wanted to be like him. I was 11 years old when my father got killed. He got beat with some baseball bats. And that just messed me up. I used to be out there in the streets all through the night. I used to be in jails, fighting, kicking off rides, and doing all crazy stuff. Just gang banging.
Oh, what up, boy? Man, come holler at me, man. What's up?
Ricardo Kobe Williams. He's a younger interrupter, which is a good thing. But once he came on board at CeaseFire, he began to really turn the heat on. Kobe knows how to get in. He talks the language, and he knows what to say, when to say it.
Crazy, man. You two guys, man, y'all been around here on a lot of bull, both of y'all.
Robbing people, breaking their windows, all kinds of stuff.
Man, whenever I gotta do what I gotta do, I gotta do what I gotta do, you know? Don't get it all twisted. Once upon a time, this man was out here too, doing the same thing we did and did.
Kobe has big-time credibility with the gang members out there.
Why did we go wait for heat to come to us?
Break it out, look at them. What's going on?
A friend of mine called me, very concerned about her 2 kids.
The streets is taking a toll.
They stay in the same house, and they be at each other because both of them are in 2 different cliques.
Yes. Threatening to kill one another, shooting at each other is just crazy. And I can't keep coming off the road, you know, because I work for Amtrak, and not knowing if somebody's going to kick the door in because of this gang's violence. I just packed up and left, yes. I left the apartment in my name so they don't be homeless. So this my little honeycomb hideout.
Oh, this your honeycomb.
They don't know where I live either.
Your kids don't?
Nope.
Your youngest son's still locked up, right?
Yep. He don't get out till 2016 for attempt murder. And he was 17 when they got him.
One thing, you still have all three of your kids.
Yes, I thank God for that. People say I'm crazy because I say if I lose one of my sons, I don't want no funeral. I don't want nobody to come, give me condolences. And they say that's mean of me, but that's how I feel.
So just stay strong and keep your head up. I'm going to try to reach out to them myself.
Well, I wish you luck in finding them.
Yeah, just try to see what I could do.
Because I know if they have a strong person that's lived that life, I think they could be saved. Because I just can't do it anymore.
Right.
Violence is like the great infectious diseases of all history. I mean, we used to look at people with plague, leprosy, TB as bad and evil people. And something needs to be done about them, and they were put in dungeons. What perpetuates violence can be as invisible today as the microorganisms of the past were. I had been overseas for about 10 years at World Health working on infectious diseases. Coming back to the U.S., the violence is unavoidable. But I saw it as behavior, not as bad people. You can judge it, but it's not what we do in science.
I never had nothing against food and them, nothing. When I came out, like I said, they shot in my car.
For the young people in these neighborhoods, they see violence as their disease. What they expect to die of is this.
Don't tell me you gonna squash something, then go back and do something else. Because then you done made me look like an ass. Right. And if that's what you want to do, then you put on big boy shoes, then you play big boy games.
Violence is a two-step process. The first thought is, I have a grievance. He looked at my girl, he called me a name, he disrespected me, he owes me money. He's a Sunni, he's a Palestinian, he's an Israeli. The second thought is that grievance justifies violence.
At the end of the day, man, nobody gonna win, man.
Our work is about thought two.
I mean, and your family hurt behind it. That's why I say ain't no point, no finger. Yours wrong, all that. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to move on, man.
So the interrupter's role, like the TB disease control worker's role, is to do this initial interruption of transmission.
Told the officers that you ain't got nothing to say. You're gonna deal with it yourself.
Right.
You gotta drown yourself with the people and immerse yourself in the bull. You have to talk as if, man, I understand, man. I've been there. I know how it is to hurt a mother.
I'm not no punk or nothing.
Yeah.
The only thing came to my mind was retaliate. They got to know they did the wrong person.
Yeah.
I hear you, Jack. You know, you're 100% right. And I'm with you, man. If you're gonna take care of your business, take care of your business. But check this out. If I know you want to shoot the mother, the police know already, your friends know, and somebody gonna tell on your ass.
And make sure you talk to the individuals that did this to me. You let them know that you gonna keep this here peace.
Yeah.
You doing this.
Yeah.
Once you make sense out of the madness, then you start talking about the scientific theory. You start talking about the change of the behavior. Then you can give them a history lesson. You know, your daddy was violent, your granddaddy was up, he was violent. Now all your brothers are up because you misled them. It's time to save yourself, brother.
Brother, just give me time to work with it, all right? All right.
You know, I really understand why it's not easy for people to back down for one reason.
All right, man.
Because you've been taught all your life in the community where I grew up in, you got to stand up no matter what happens. Death before dishonor. When I was 14 years old, this guy beat me down in the streets, and my stepfather took his life right in front of me, and I felt good about it, really. And I was always a shaky criminal. I used to sell fake hash to the sailors down on Michigan Avenue. I used to steal smoke detectors. They call them the smoke detector bandits. I was playing on women a lot. Women would help me. I had a lot of girlfriends that would give me money because I had a big old afro back then. First time I worked for CeaseFire in 1999. I told Gary I had a bachelor's degree at that time. And Gary asked me, say, where's your bachelor's degree at? I say, look, man, hey, I was just trying to get in. I went back to school. I got my bachelor's degree. With my master's degree, I began to understand that we've been taught violence. Violence is learned behavior. Hear me clearly, young brothers. I don't mention gang names when I do my mediations, all right? At this transitional home for teenage parolees, the residents were in conflict with one another, and they were pulling in gang members from throughout the area. It was about to blow up in a major way. The problem that we have right now is about some money that led to a fight, right? How much money was it? $5. It was about $5, everybody?
Dude said, instead of giving him $5, give him 15. No, it don't work like that. You ain't finna get no more than what you want.
He said, I'm not paying you. Right. And 5 minutes later on, they came up here.
It took me as a woman to stand in the middle of the street with 15 guys that I knew nothing of, right, and to come out my pocket and pay $15 to keep peace. No respect for where you live at.
Think this could turn into gunplay?
Yeah, I think so because it's gonna escalate, it's gonna keep going and going.
If we gotta live here, man, I don't wanna bring these streets over here, man. I ain't trying to go back to that life. I'm one man, I can't fight all of them. What you think I'm gonna do? Heck yeah, I'm gonna go get me a thumper.
Like this brother just said, anytime 15 guys mob up on you, the first thing comes across your mind, I need to be strapped to deal with that. If you gotta live here and coexist with each other, someone has to be big enough to take the higher road.
I'm hearing what they telling me in there, right? And to me, it's like starting off with a $5 bag of weed.
It's beyond that.
It's beyond
But
that.
wait a minute.
I get fed up.
No. You gotta play it like a big man. I gotta play it like a big girl. When I get angry, I can bring some noise if I want to. I go lay it down. I have to. Don't make me feel like a punk. It make me feel like, you know what? Let's fight my own ego. I swear to God, I wish I had somebody to holler at me like I'm right here hollering at you. I would have not had the feeling on my record. You understand what I'm saying? What we gonna do? We gonna fight about another $5 bag of weed?
It ain't worth it.
They feed off her energy too. So what you gonna do, son? Tell me, and I'ma hold you to it.
Make myself better.
You too, Lil Mina.
If they wanna let it go, we can let it go.
All right, I wanna see some love.
Where you find these strangers at?
These your people, man.
Where y'all find him at?
Today, I finally reached Toya and her 2 kids, and we agreed to all sit down together and work things out. This morning, Toya was steaming hot. She went back. The apartment she left her kids. She saw Kenneth's friend in there bagging up some drugs. She went back and changed the locks. Time's hard. You got to have a job out here, man.
Yeah, man. We'll hustle one or the other.
Hustle gonna end you up 1 or 2 places.
It really don't matter right now.
Well, if it don't matter, why speak on it?
I guess that's the same in your life. You're not gonna make no progress. You just gotta humble yourself. You thinking like you want a handout. No one's gonna give you anything. You talking to him or me? I'm talking in general now. If you're listening, then I'm talking to you too. I'm really not listening to what you're saying. That's why you're in the predicament you is now. I don't have time for the what you been through that's so hard?
Nobody happy.
What you been through that's so hard?
So what the is you saying, B? You ain't no boss of me, boy.
Right,
come on now, your crowd or who you be around, that don't make you no man, nigga.
Push gonna sell whatever I say gonna go. If I don't want to fuck out there, ain't nobody gonna be out there, nigga. Now what? Now what you gonna say?
That's how you look at it. Y'all shoot at that crowd, then it's on. And I'm right there. Then it's on.
Is you gonna rap with your guys?
But hey, Bud and Kenneth and Bud, but
I just want to hear him.
On our way down there, I'm like, damn, did I make a mistake? You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to get to fighting under my watch.
I'm saying one thing y'all missing, man. Y'all is blood brothers, man. Y'all ain't no bad kids. Both of y'all finished school. Both of y'all ain't been to no penitentiary. That's good, man.
I just hate how my own people just think like, yeah, Kenneth, the type of crowd he be
Boy, if
around
I
and all
was
this
the
and all
parent that I
that.
was, you wouldn't have made it through school. I made sure you had what you needed.
Hey, but Kenneth, I'm gonna tell you this though. She don't want to see it happen to y'all, man.
He can't say when he need or he need a bond. I'm not there. I always bond him out of jail for stuff that I don't even believe in.
I don't need no other man. I never served for another man or none of that. I always been on my own too.
Always been on my own too. If I had got something from another motherfucker, Kobe, I took it. Plain and simple. Cause I feel my old.
Go to work. You don't have to
I'm right here on Roosevelt and Ashland, right here.
Think of favoritism. Ain't no favoritism. A
All
parent
right, come
see
to
the
the office.
potential
It's
in each
heated right
child.
now.
A parent see when the person is led a certain way.
All right.
If the clique you are in, I ain't putting you on the spot, but if they came at your brother, would you stop them?
Yeah.
You would. Okay? The clique you in, if they came at your brother, would you stop them?
Of course.
And my thing to you, when it come down to the street game, the only choices, man, is jails, deaths, and institutions. Do you feel you can be in a cell for 23 hours a day, a 6x9 cell?
No man could be in that place for that long.
But what'll happen when you're on the streets, though, little brother, you run into a situation out there with your brother's associates. You mad at your mama, you mad at your brother, you're not thinking right, you hound some reefer, bam, you shoot some body, right? No, you're not that guy, but it happens. Hear me clearly. 60% of the guys in the penitentiary were not them kind of guys. They were probably sitting in the same seats like you sitting there and never thought it would happen to them. I bet you.
I love my brother to death. He just don't understand, like, and it's not really a problem with him. It's really a problem with, like, my mother and my grandmother. I just feel like they really do take sides, man. I don't got no problems with my brother. I love my mama to death, but she just don't listen or try to just try to relate a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And all that she done while I'm growing up, you ain't always been peaches and cream in your life.
I never said I was, but at the same time, you don't have to go down that road and be the spoiled peach.
I'm really not.
You gonna have issues with your mother. Every damn kid in the United States, black or white, got issues with their parents, man. This ain't nothing new. Which one of you brothers can cook?
Neither one.
I know how to cook something, anything.
You need to cook your mother a meal one day, man. Y'all need to sit down with your mother. You hear me? I know it's kind of tough because you haven't done it, but you need to sit down with your mother, man. Have a family day.
My oldest child, she don't even know I know how to get down. See? Stove. You know, that's kind of odd to me. It's not coming to me right. It's just not coming to me right now.
That's right. That's right.
Man, you know what I love to see though, for real, man? I love to see y'all two embrace each other, man. You and your brother, man. For real.
I'm gonna let Kobe handle that one there.
Love to see y'all embrace each other, man.
And your mother. And
your mama, yeah, man.
Mom, that's what's happening right there, bro. You know, can you handle that, little brother? Huh? I ain't gonna force you to do it. You know that. I ain't gonna force you, brother. But
you should embrace your mama, your brother. Not right now.
Right. Hey, man, I know y'all not ready to.
I was sick behind that. It's your mama, man. I wouldn't care what. You should still always hug your mama and let her know you love her, man.